When the chief priests, therefore, and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, crucify him, crucify him. For what? The judge just said, I find no fault in him. And yet they say, crucify him. Pilate said unto them,
hello, welcome to my channel. This is Gospel 360. In this video, the man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome, DSC, DSCDD, will explain why Jesus Christ was killed. You get the answer as you watch. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thank you, and God bless you as you watch.
All of those towns and cities in Israel, who was this Jesus? He was who he claimed to be. Can I tell you why Jesus was crucified? Have you ever thought about it? What was the reason, the singular reason Jesus was put to death? I wonder if you've ever thought about it. What was the singular reason for which Jesus was killed by men? You'll be surprised why they killed him. Jesus was not crucified because somebody lied about him. Jesus was not crucified because they just hated him, even though they hated him without a cause. Jesus was not crucified because he did something wrong and they misunderstood, or they assumed he did something that was so terrible and they found out later on he didn't. No. You'll be amazed at the singular reason Jesus was crucified. You want to know? Yeah. I'm sure many of you are saying yes, you want to know. Singular reason Jesus was crucified. All right, let's read from St. John's Gospel, chapter 19, verse number 7. The Jews answered him. You know, Pilate, maybe I should read from verse 4, all right? So you can get the picture. Pilate therefore went forth again and said, now Pilate was the governor, all right? And said unto them, behold, I bring him forth to you. He had examined Jesus, so he says, behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Pilate said, I find no fault in Jesus. So he brought Jesus back to the Jews. They had charged him with crimes. He says, I find no fault in him. All the accusations wouldn't agree together. There was no crime. There was no fault in Jesus. All right, let's keep reading. Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns. They put a crown of thorns. He was already suffering pains, affliction, for no crime committed. At the judgment, Pilate says, I find no fault in this man, and yet he had been punished for no wrongdoing. Then came Jesus forth wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate said unto them, behold a man. When the chief priests, therefore, and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, crucify him, crucify him. For what? The judge just said, I find no fault in him. And yet they say, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. So he says, you go and crucify him yourself. I find no fault in him. Now watch. This will show you what Jesus was killed for. Watch. Next verse. The Jews answered him. They answered Pilate. We have a law, and by our law he ought to die because he made himself the Son of God. That's why Jesus was killed. Because he said, I am the Son of God. That's why he was killed. They say we have a law. By our law, he ought to die because he made himself the Son of God. That's what Jesus was killed for. For saying that he was the Son of God. Question. What's the meaning of Son of God? I want to tell you the meaning.
On the world, everything about me is constantly changing as I give myself to pastors' messages. So I want to encourage you as well, download PCDL on your phone, subscribe, listen to the messages over and over and over, play them night and day until they get inside you, and change your life. And I can guarantee you will come back with millions of testimonies.
You can also get to listen to testimonies of people who have listened to messages of Pastor Chris and obtained miracles. Enjoy all these and so much more. Download now the all-new Pastor Chris Digital Library mobile app from the Love World App Store.